Good morning, otherworldlies. This is Juliana Angel, your dark mask diva. Alright, you guys, so I was online giving advice with some fellow advice givers. I felt so disappointed in my fellow advice givers. I'll tell you why. Okay, so there was a young lady from a foreign country, and she was feeling sexually harassed by people, okay? So she was basically saying that she was being leered at by strangers. Okay, so she was trying to explain it in broken English that she was being leered at by strangers and wanting to know what to do about it. So I seemed to be the only person who was sympathizing with the problem. And everybody else was shaming her for not wanting to be leered at by strangers. And I was, so she was saying, what can I do because I feel uncomfortable? I go outside and strange men leer at me. She didn't say leer, she said, strange men stare at me like creep. And I'm uncomfortable. And I said, okay, I know what you mean. She said, gaze at me for a long time like creep. Or something like that, and I said, oh, that's called leering. They're making you uncomfortable by the way they're looking at you, and so I said, make a disgusted face so they see that your behavior is that you don't appreciate it, and then walk away. So they're seeing that you're not flirting, that you're not responding well to it, and that you're walking away from them, that you don't like it. So they're not encouraged by it. Okay, because I said I've been in that situation several times myself as a young person, and they're not watching their conduct. So now the other people in there, which were I imagine women my age, were being very indecorous. They were saying things like, well, by the time you get older, that won't happen anymore, and you'll wish it was. Oh, really? Well, it's still happening to me, and I don't appreciate it. I still have to go, ugh, and walk away. I still have to dodge sexual harassment from people, okay? It's okay not to want to be sexually harassed. And when people leer at you, you make a face and make them, let them know you don't like it. Don't smile back nervously because they'll think you're flirting with them. They'll take it as encouragement. Don't back down when people do that. Don't be intimidated when people are staring at you. That is actually a very predatory thing for them to be doing. When people are staring, that's one thing for people to be staring and admiring you. Okay, but if they're doing it for a prolonged period of time, it's actually a predatory thing for them to be doing, okay? It's one thing for someone to admire you. I don't mind when people admire me. I wish they would. Okay? I like to be admired. I like when someone looks at me, admires me, and smiles, and is nice about it, okay? That's a compliment. But when someone's, just undressing me with their eyes and giving me the IF, that's not okay. That makes me feel dirty, and it makes me feel disgusted, and it makes me feel like they're going to follow me when I leave the room, okay? It makes me really uncomfortable. And I'm sure that's the way the young lady was feeling, because she's a young lady, okay? And all these older people were just shaming her for not wanting to be sexually harassed. So I'm going to talk to some of you young people. This is what you do. Okay, say like you're at the mall, and you have somebody bothering you. Go up to an older person, okay? You go up to somebody like me, okay, or another older person, and go, oh, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Oh, there you are. And you go up to an older person. The other older person that was bothering you is going to leave you alone, because they're going to, of course, think I'm your mom, or, that other person's your dad, or something like that. They're going to stop sexually harassing you. They're going to, of course, think that's your parent. Okay, they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to be around that person's mom or dad, because they're going to be reminded that you're a child. Okay, And we've all been in your shoes before, okay? And some of us older folks are still getting sexually harassed. So if a young lady comes up to me and goes, "There you are, Mom," I'm going to know exactly what you're doing. Please do that. If you see me in the mall, come up and go, "Hi, Mom," I'm going to know exactly what you're doing. Please do that if you see me in the mall. And if you're a young man being sexually harassed by someone, come up and say, "There you are, Mom." I'll go along with it. I'll know exactly. I know someone's bothering you, okay? Because I know it happens to young men too. I know it's not just happening to young ladies. Okay, I know young men are getting harassed too. It's not a gender thing. Okay, I know perverts come in all shapes and sizes and prey on whomever, okay? So I know it's not just happening to girls. Okay, and I'm sure Zen will say the same thing. Go up to him and say, "Hi, Dad," okay? He'll go along with it. Okay, so just come up to either one of us if you see us in the mall and call us Mom and Dad. We'll back you up, okay? We have no problem doing that whatsoever. Don't let old, bitter people shame you because you don't want to be sexually harassed. I could not believe how many people in that forum, I seem to be the only one who is being nice and going, "Yeah, that's called leering," when they stare at you all creepy like that. It's not okay for them to do that. It'd be one thing if you were returning their gaze. That means you're interested. When you stare back at someone with interest, that means you like them back. But if you're going, "Ew," and walk away, you're showing them you don't like that. Okay? But when you stare back at them and make eye contact for a prolonged period of time, you're showing them interest. But when you're looking away and going, and squirming and just trying to walk away from them and just going, making a face and doing things like that, you're showing that you're just that you think it's gross. Okay? And go to an older adult. All right? Because people like me have been through it before. People like me are still going through it, and people like me will help protect you. Okay, and I get it. I totally get it. And I'm not going to shame you for being leered at. I get it. Okay? I'm so grossed out when that happens. Why do they think you want to be stared at in a perverted way? That's so gross. Okay? It's like, I get it. If somebody was smiling at you and appreciating your beauty and like, "Wow, what a nice looking young lady." Okay, that's different than somebody giving you this creepy stare and making you feel uncomfortable and making you feel unsafe. I know there's a difference. Okay? I mean, I like when people look at me with admiration and make me feel nice and special. I like that. I like when people admire me. But I don't like when people leer at me and make me feel like they're going to attack me as soon as I leave. And no one's looking. There's a totally different feeling like someone's going to come get you. They're leering at you like giving you a creepy feeling. So those other people that were answering the question, they had no idea what they were talking about. And one of them was saying some really mean stuff to me for telling the young lady what was really going on. Hey, that's called leering. There's a difference between admiring and leering. If they're looking at you like a creep, that's called leering. You make a face to let them know you don't like it and you walk away. You find a grown-up. And this guy just started cursing me out, being rude, and then he started saying all this weird stuff that didn't make sense. So I reported him, this guy's a troll, he's being mean to me, he's being inappropriate to the asker, he's not answering the question right, and he's just, he's off his rocker, basically. So they deleted everything he said, and then I had to block him and all this kind of stuff, they shouldn't let him in there, because he shouldn't be in there. I don't know how they let him in, but every once in a while one gets past him, and because they answer enough questions intelligently, but some people just are not. Maybe that account got hacked or something. I don't know. But this person is no. But yeah. His replies got deleted. So thank goodness, because that was really scary and weird. The stuff he was saying to myself and the young lady. So yeah, go up. Just go, and get away, because even here, when people, like the lady that gets the bozos bothering her in the pharmacy, there's never a security guard there. No one ever protects her. There's always a bozo in the pharmacy bothering her, okay? When I'm in the supermarket and get sexually harassed, I always have to duck and dodge who is ever bothering me. Oh, I went to the supermarket tonight. There's some weird people in there. I kept my earphones in, and I kind of tried not to make eye contact with people, and I just kind of did my shopping, and I kept listening to my earphones, and I kept texting Zen, and I just bought my groceries, and I left, and it was uneventful, so I did really well. I don't know what it is about the supermarket. There were a few weirdos in there, but I did okay. But there's just something about the supermarket. It's kind of an iffy place for me, if you know what I mean. Like, for some reason, it's an unsafe place for me. You know how, like, some people get bugged at the mall? I get bugged at the supermarket. But that's not the bad one. The other one is the bad one. This one is the safer one. So I went. It's actually Safeway. So I went to Safeway, and I think I got there early enough where there were fewer weirdos, and there were also kind of a mixed crowd. So there were not as many problematic people. So I did okay, and I made less eye contact, and there were just fewer weird people. So it was uneventful. I was really glad nothing happened. But yeah, I'm thinking, if I'm still getting harassed at my mature age, what's happening to the young people? And no one's sticking up for them. No one's telling them it's not okay for you to get sexually harassed. I mean, somebody who's, mentally and emotionally mature, whether I act like it or not. Somebody who's got, physical and mental and emotional maturity, who knows they're being sexually harassed, knows it's not okay, is still afraid, but knows what's going on, and knows it's not all right, and knows how to handle themselves. Okay, but what about somebody who's just growing up and is basically a child, but they're being sexually harassed? Okay, and there's all these people trying to scold them for it. Oh, well, when you get older, that's not going to happen, so you better enjoy it now. Oh my God, no, she's saying she's afraid. No, you need to find an older adult and say, hi, Mom, and hi, Dad. And you need to show them with your body language you don't like that stuff. That's what needs to happen. So I basically just, here's something you can do when you're being followed. I don't think I ever mentioned this before. And I don't know if you guys have ever done this before. But if you're ever followed, like if you're ever on the street, or say like you're ever, say, okay, my dangerous place is in the supermarket. Make 4 right turns. If someone is still behind you, they're following you. And that's happened to me before. I've made 4 right turns, and that person was still behind me. And then I turned around and looked at them, and then they put the newspaper in front of their face real fast. And then they kind of went like that and looked at me again, and I just kind of looked at him like, what do you think you're doing? And I just kind of looked at him like that, and he just kind of backed up, and I just kind of got on the phone, and I pretended like I was talking on the phone. I said, yes, honey, I'm in the store right now, and I would start talking like really loud. Can you come pick me up? And to make it sound like someone was coming to get me. And the guy was following me, and And the faster I would walk, making the turns, I could hear his cart going faster, and his footsteps were going faster. He was literally following me. I was walking really fast, making these four right turns, and he was walking as fast as I was walking. He wasn't even being sly about it. It was so creepy. And he made every right turn that I made. It was like bizarre. But that's usually what happens when you're driving. You make your four right turns, and if somebody's, and you're on the same block, if somebody's behind you, yeah, they're following you. That's something you do. That's usually people do that during police chases and stuff like that. But you could also do that just to find out if somebody's following you in a store, somebody's following you on the road. Because what you're doing is you're ending up in the same place you were before. So basically, that's a good way to find out, because you're not deviating from your path at all. So make your four right turns. That's how I knew it was not my imagination that the person was following me. Also, there was another time where I would go down an aisle to avoid somebody, and he would come up the other aisle to try to head me off at the pass. That's another time I knew that a guy was trying to bother me. He kept trying to block me at every aisle and get in my way. So I would go up one aisle, so he'd come up the other aisle and try to block me. So I would have to move around him. Yeah. And he kept saying hi, and I just kept dodging and trying to get away from him. And he just kept staring at me like this, and it's just like, I have a ring on. What makes you think I want to talk to you anyway? It's not like it's somebody that I knew. I mean, I didn't come in there to talk to strangers. I came in there to buy some groceries. But the security guards are never anywhere to be found. You know, and I feel like I'm having to use all my basketball moves to kind of dodge people and be like this, and you know, and just do all this stuff, you know, like do all this magic footwork and get away from people all the time. And I mean, I'm just learning to walk again. This is really scary. But and they're leering at me too. So they're doing some scary eye contact, some creepy stuff, and I'm just like having to go, you know, and just whoa, you know, and keep trying to get away from him and stuff like that, and just almost pretend I didn't see him. It's kind of like, you know, like, let me just get away from you for a minute, you know. So I think something I could have done is tell store security, but it's almost like it was so weird. I'm like, is this really happening? Because I can't believe it's still happening at my age. I think this happens to kids, but it's happening to grown women. It's happening to my friend who's even older than I am. She was at the supermarket, and she had a guy run up and bash his cart into her cart. Just to be a weirdo. He just ran full speed and bam, ran his cart into her cart. True story. She lives a few doors down from me. And she's like, I don't know, 15 years older than me. Pretty lady. He's just being a pervert. Yeah. That's something more aggressive than what happened to me. Yeah. So, people are just being weird in the supermarket. And I thought the stuff that happens to me is weird. I don't know what it is about the supermarket, but ever since the pandemic, people have been doing some really weird things in the supermarket. So be careful. And this happens any time of the day. It's not because I tend to shop in the evening. Actually, the weirder stuff happens during the day. So, and weirder stuff happened to my friend, and she's even older than me. So, I don't know what to say. It's not an age thing. Just people are weird. They want to perv on somebody. And I have a ring on, so it's not like I'm a single lady. She's a single lady, though. Actually, she has a boyfriend, but he wasn't with her. but she doesn't have a ring on her finger, and I do. But her boyfriend wasn't there that day, and this guy just rammed into her cart on purpose. Just to perv on her. Just to be a weirdo and scare her. Yes. So she goes, "You pervert, what's wrong with you?" And then she went home and got on the internet and found out that people are doing that. Yes. Crazy, right? Okay, well, seek out other people if you're being perved on. If you're being leered at, just go, and walk away, okay? Young people, go up to an older person and say, "Hi, Mom, hi, Dad." Okay? We will take the hint. We will, because it's happening to us, or it happened to us, or it's still happening to us, okay? We get it. So, otherworldlies, this is Juliana Angel. Do not feel ashamed if people are acting weird towards you. The rest of us will protect you, okay? Alright. I love you guys. Good night.